if you take the same bass line, play it a lot slower, and with a laid-back feel, you get something like reggae. Now, you don't just have to play it in the major key. You can play in the minor key as well. So this example is going to use A minor and E minor. I'm going to emphasize the third beat of each bar, and I'm going to phrase to the fifth of each chord.
Now becomes the role of the guitar in reggae. Just listen to this for a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that was like a crossover between American R&B and early ska. There was a guitarist called Ernest Ranglin who actually began skanking on the offbeat. And even though reggae music today is a lot slower, you've still got that distinctive guitar chop rhythm. And as Jeff mentioned earlier, it's like on the second and fourth beat of the bar, where the snare drum would usually be in rock music. Now, to get that sound, we're going to use the technique that we looked at in funk last week, which involves left-hand damping. If you remember, you actually fret the chord and then bring your fingers up quickly so they rest on the strings, and this cuts the sound off short, so like this. You can also use a double stroke like this. Or sometimes you can get a really percussive sound by just resting your hand on the strings, the left hand, so that you don't hear any of the note sounds at all, like this. So there's several variations, but the chord sequences tend to be quite simple. Songs often consist of just, 2 or 3 chords. Now, another feature of reggae guitar is when you play very heavily dampened melodic riffs. And when I say dampened this time, I mean the right-hand damping that we looked at in funk last week. Now, these phrases are very similar to the bass line, but they're a little bit more elaborate. And this is a style that was particularly used in rocksteady and things like that. If you're going to do a guitar solo in reggae, the important thing is to keep it simple and melodic. I'm going to do a guitar solo now using mainly the blues scale and adding in a couple of extra notes to try and get the most melodic sound that I can. The other unique and influential aspect of reggae is dub. In the 60s, records were made where the B-sides were instrumental versions of the A-sides. The vocals were largely dubbed out. Now, these proved to be really popular, and with the advent of multi-track recording in Jamaica, they began to make very complex dub mixes. Tracks were dropped in and out, and they were treated with echo and lots of other effects. Now, musicians have actually begun to imitate these studio techniques, and this has led into a whole completely new area on its own. We asked Dennis Bovell to explain about live dub techniques.
Somewhere along is this. Variate, just deviate, right, from the beat and play something quite outside the beat, but within the tempo. Right, so it's back. Right. just play something alien to what's happening, but not for too long, just long enough to make it sweet. The bass would be doing anything he wanted to do for any amount of time. He'd given himself time to do it to get back into the mainstream of the music, right? Can you imagine sort of going against the tide one time in a river that's going the other way for a little while and then going back with the tide, right? So say the bass line was like this. Right? You might even go or something, you know, and then back to. Well, first of all, say you had an ordinary two-chord pattern, right? The tune was just bubbling in two chords, right? From there, there, right? Now, keeping that in mind, right? I'd get out of that time and go. All that is within, right? In the case of, oh, you know, slow it down, but all within, right? So you give the illusion of sort of doing that.
Dennis was mostly playing triplets, sort of slowing them down, speeding them up to imitate the effect of tape echo. Now, obviously, that can be quite tricky to do. So the best way to start working on your dub is just to drop the instruments in and out every couple of bars or so. And then when you can get a bit more adventurous and start to copy these tape effects as you get going. But the main thing is to keep the feel of the beat in mind all the time, whatever you're doing.
So I hope you can see that the basics of reggae aren't so mysterious after all. There's a certain flexibility in the music, which gives players great scope for development. Reggae is not just music, it's an attitude of mind. There's a sense of working together, and all musicians can benefit from understanding about it.
Oh, hi, I was just taking notes. Stay tuned to Rock School, and you'll see Dennis Bovell in the studio creating a dub right before your eyes. And if you'd like to know a lot more about reggae, keep watching, and you'll find out how to get a home study package that goes into much greater detail than a half-hour program can. So now, for Rock School, this is Herbie Hancock saying, I want to be a reggae star.
UK dub master Dennis Bovell, dubbing up a storm.
I got the guitar now, right? Echo the snare. Back in the guitar. Try a bit of reverb on it. Reverb. Yeah. And try to harmonize it.